Man, you guys are so much cooler than me. All right.
We know.
What else? We know. Hey,
That was good.
I got it. It's working. All right. Now we can start the show. We just hit 500 subscribers. Thank you, everyone who has come around for the show. And we wanted to do a special one today where we took questions from a bunch of you guys in our Discord. Shout outs to our Discord. If you're not in that Discord, please join us before it's too late. No, I'm just kidding. Join us in the Discord. There's a lot of chaos there. And we do things like this where you guys can jump in, ask questions. We like to engage with you guys. A lot of fun conversations there. So we wanted to go through and answer some of these questions, have you get to know us a little bit more. So this is going to be our 500 sub AMA special. Thanks for joining us today. Slam, how's it going, homie?
It's going good. I'd say, you know what? I'd say it's going great because I'm playing. If you watched last week's Pokemon episode, and you know how much we all love Pokemon and agree on Pokemon opinions, and we're all just one 100%. Big happy Pokemon family. And I was like so inspired to play Pokemon Legends CA, and I've been playing a ton of it, and I love this game. I think it is the most addicted I've been to a Pokemon game in a really, really long time.
Definitely.
I think that gameplay loop and the characters and just like this, like being able to like style my character and like different outfits, just making them look cool, and then going around to the different areas. And I love the verticality of the map. And I just think there's a lot of really creative ideas in this game, not just with the combat, but how everything's like paced and laid out. And I'm having a lot of fun with Legend CA.
Yeah, dude, it's a good one. UI is great. All the quality of life stuff is great. The voice acting could use some work.
100%.
Say
it needs some.
Any work would do.
It's just the fact that it needs some. Yes.
Yeah.
Just let's get that in there. Pokemon Company, but the game itself is like super addicting for sure.
I like the whole like ranking Z through A concept too. I think that's just kind of cool and something different.
Yeah.
I like it too. It mixes up the traditional like gym leader badge strategy, like or process more. Like I like it a lot.
Yeah, it makes it interesting too with the actual challengers as well. So
yeah, some of the personalities of the challengers is hilarious.
They're so unhinged, and like their motivation for wanting to rank up is so funny. Like I love
the taxi
seeing like
guy
what they
in the beginning.
say.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna make everybody use taxis so I can make money.
Or like the businesswoman who's like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah. Oh, even I love.
She's like, get on with it.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to the chef yet? Where the chef's like, I'm gonna win and make this a 3-star restaurant. I'm like, bro, 3 stars? Like, can you
set your dreams higher? God.
Anyway,
I haven't reached that one yet. I did enjoy the kid where your like character's like staring down at them, and he's just like, "You look like a rank X trainer."
Yep, I did that one.
I love that so much.
Oh man, yeah, it's so good, and I definitely explored a bunch of places and way over leveled, and
of course you did.
Got an Embor,
as is the Brandon
at
way.
like level 40. Yeah, and then I'd like go into a challenge area, and they're like level 10, and then I had Heat Crash. And so Embor, you know what, Heat Crash like does more damage based on size difference. And so nobody having an evolved Pokemon, they're like, here's a Rattata, and I'm like, Heat Crash, destroy them, and it's wonderful. So having a good time with that.
Crushing everyone's dreams.
Yeah.
That's the way. That's the way. Yeah. Mags, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm also playing Legend ZA, and it's so much fun. I've not played a Pokemon game at release in several years, but it's been so fun to just play this alongside everyone and see everyone's different outfits and all the photos. Like, I love the photo mode. I just think that's so adorable. You can sit at the cafe, you can do all these fun poses. Like, I know that's not the main point of these games, but I like all of the fun little additions like that they've added.
Yeah.
Being able to customize your character, change their hair, just do all of that. It's a lot of fun. And I've also really liked the side quests. Which it's taking me like longer to like get through the ranking system, because every like new day I just do all the side quests first because they're so much fun. And I feel like they're more varied than I expected. Like they're not all
Mhm.
like your traditional like, hey, go get this item. Like there was like a little like Pokemon contest thing thrown in there. There's different battles that you can do. There was that scaffolding obstacle course, which was kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's kind of it's a little bit sad because I started Final Fantasy Tactics, but like Pokemon is kind of like dragging me away from that a little bit. But I know, but I'm still gonna play
No!
Tactics. I'm still playing it. It's just like I have to like be in the mood for it because I don't know. I'm just having so much fun with Pokemon, and I didn't expect
Yeah.
that at all. So
This is like the Pokemon season. I get it.
Yeah.
It's this
It's
time
like
of
the
year,
time
you know.
of year, yeah,
it
where it's like
is,
Pokemon
and everyone
just
else
hits.
is playing it. Like I feel like that it's been so fun to like see everyone's different like photos that they're posting and
Yeah,
like their
yeah.
different teams. Like it's just sometimes it's just fun with a game like that to play it alongside like a whole community. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
totally.
agree.
yeah, I'm getting sucked into it. But I'm still playing Tactics, and oh my gosh, Argath, that's his name. He is the literal worst, and he finally
Yup.
left my party, and I'm so glad.
Yeah, I think we
Like,
all
Yeah.
were.
That
I
dude,
am so
like
tired of that dude.
he's like the first indication in the game that you're like, whoa, something is really wrong here because what the heck is going on with this guy? Yeah.
Yeah, like, at first he's like, whatever. And then when he starts to talk more, I'm just like, dude,
You're
like,
gross.
You're gross.
awful. And then eventually he gets punched and it's fine. But I'm like, oh my gosh, like, where did they find this guy? So anyway, it's been good though. I really do think that like the voice acting has added a lot to that experience. Like I can't imagine playing it without it because it's like making the story come alive. And it's definitely giving me like Lord of the Rings, like kind of style vibes with that. So I'm having
Yeah.
fun with it too.
Yeah, there's something about voice
Acting that really changes how you
Pokemon.
interpret a
Pokemon Company.
story.
That wasn't even intentional, but yeah, it does make a big difference.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I was thinking about the Pokemon photo mode, and I'm like, what's the biggest Pokemon you can get in this game? Because I kind of want to break one of those cafe pictures. Like, hey, like,
Of course
hey,
you do.
Waylord, can you sip some tea with me, buddy? Like, I want.
He's like, you
Just
can't even
see
see
what
like
happens.
the chair
Yeah.
or the table anymore.
Yeah.
Like he's just there.
It's just like a big blue blob. Yeah. You're like just sipping some tea with my homie. That
You
sounds
should
like
try
fun to
that
me.
and post it. I want to see it. If you
I
end up
haven't tried
doing
it with
that.
Embor. Embor's pretty big. He's no
Mhm.
Waylord, but it might be
Well,
worth
what
giving it a
is?
shot. Right.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens. But like
Mhm.
imagine getting, I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the leaks or anything, so I don't know like what legendaries you can get in this game, but I'm just imagining
Mhm.
getting some like stupidly large legendary and like sitting and drinking tea with them for kicks and giggles. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah. Nope. Same thing for me. I've been playing Pokemon, still slowly but surely making my way through trails. I'm in chapter 4, and I got to the sewers. If you know, you know.
Finish it.
Yeah. So I
Finish
gotta.
it.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Well, we already talked about a spoiler cast. We're gonna do it. It's fine.
We're waiting
So that's
on
been
ya.
good. But
TikTok.
otherwise, things have been pretty busy over here, so I'm trying to get that game time in when I can. But hey, last time I showed off my cool Square Enix things, so that's Dragon Quest III Warrior up there, and that's my slime. So very proud of those things. Very excited about those. And I think that's and this came. Let's go.
I have one too.
Yes.
Finish it.
So yeah.
Okay.
Finish.
I'm done.
And before we get into all of the awesome questions we have, I did just want to shout out that we have these awesome Aegis jackets that we're all in on together. We got them from PAX.
Matching jackets. Yeah.
That's right. What is the company again? Do you remember, Slam?
I have
wanna
a
shout them
card
out.
somewhere. I don't know. It's probably
Wait,
somewhere on the
Do I
jacket.
have? Do I
Oh,
have?
is
We're
it
all just
M-
like looking at the jacket.
Is it M Rage?
Yeah.
M Rage, yes, yeah. So shout outs to M Rage because they were at PAX and they had these jackets and we love them. They're super cool. So
Very cool.
shout outs, and we're gonna be sporting the. What do we say? We're trinning this episode, not twinning, but
Tripleting.
Tripleting.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe you guys can tell us
Wrestleriana.
what it's called in the comments.
Yeah.
Wrestleriana.
Oh, yeah. Atelier. All right. And with
It's my
that,
favorite when he does that.
I know.
That's why I brought
let's
that
get
up.
into
So
the
good.
questions. So we took all the questions from our Discord and we I should say Mags. Shout outs to Mags.
Shout outs
she
to
organized them
Mags.
for us, categorized them. She did a beautiful job. So thank you,
Aw.
Mags. We're gonna go through these and we're gonna
Of
answer.
course.
What I can tell you before we get into it is Mags is prepared and Slam and I are not. So this is going to be really interesting.
It's gonna be fun.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's
All
go
right.
for all
Yeah,
for
there's some
random
energy.
off the top authenticity.
Yeah, let's go. Okay. So first question it was from Inferno Fox. Shout outs to Inferno Fox. And a similar question from Train in Vain 84. So we kind of looped them together. But the first question is, what was the best personal moment in gaming you've ever had? And we're going to start with Max because she's prepared.
She's prepared.
I shouldn't have told you guys that because now I feel like that's going to come
It's
up.
restructured the entire show.
Yeah. Oh, well, too late now. Okay. So I feel like the most personal moment for me would be when I finished the Mass Effect trilogy for the first time.
Ooh, okay.
And I think it was because that series, it hit me at a really difficult time in my life. I was in college. I was kind of struggling with the whole, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I don't know, like, where I'm going to be or what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. And then at the same time, my parents were going through a divorce. And so I just felt like out of control in so many different ways in my life. And I felt like I just didn't have a clear direction. I didn't know what my family was going to look like or be like either. But that series really, it just kind of took me out of that chaos and gave me something that I could control. And it's just an amazing story. Obviously, it spans through 3 games, and you kind of have this character and you're molding their personality and their choices, and you have to make all of these tough decisions, and it carries over through the games. And so I just felt like it gave me that at a time where I felt so out of control and I really needed it. And so just seeing that whole journey through was very special for that reason. And also I ended up making some friends through like the multiplayer and playing with them a lot through Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. And those
It was good
nights
multiplayer.
yeah, it was great. Those nights
Surprisingly
like, spent with them-
underrated. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Yeah. I just feel like those times though, like playing with them really helped me through a very difficult time. So that series is very special and very personal to me just because of when it hit me in my life and what it was able to kind of help me get through. So
Yeah.
the Mass Effect series.
I love that.
Yeah,
All
me
right,
too.
Slam.
What a great story. You guys are going to learn a little bit of something about me and why I love Final Fantasy X so much. My personal moment would have to be my introduction to the game. And that was through my uncle, who has since passed, unfortunately. But we were really tight. And one of the things that we did was play video games together. And he was obsessed with JRPGs, and his favorite series of all time was Final Fantasy. And I didn't really have my own PlayStation 2. I just kind of used my dad's or my uncle's if I was over at his house. And we, the family was all staying at my grandparents' house. We had like a big get together. It was a whole family thing. And my uncle brought his PlayStation 2. And of course, he was staying up all night playing Final Fantasy X. I woke up. Maybe I had already been up. But everyone else was asleep. But I knew my uncle was up because I could hear him. I could hear the music. I could hear the game. I could hear all the things that were happening. And I like knocked on his door, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "I'm playing Final Fantasy X. Do you want to play?" We stayed up, I don't know, maybe 6 a.m. Playing Final Fantasy X, Blitzball. Like he taught me how to play the game essentially, and I fell in love with it. I've since played it a million times, and it is one of my favorite games of all time and one of my favorite experiences in video games. And yeah, just so many great memories with Final Fantasy X. So I think that's the one.
Love it.
Aw, thanks for sharing. That was so sweet.
Yeah. All right, for me, I'm gonna go with a different angle. There was like 20 stories that came into my mind when I was thinking about how I'd answer this, but I'm gonna go with a Christmas memory that
Oh,
sticks with me that was super special. So I forget what year this was, but the year the GameCube was coming out, I obviously really, really wanted a GameCube. I was a big Nintendo kid. Didn't get into Sony until a little bit later. I've told that story on other episodes, so go watch all of the other
Yeah,
episodes.
do that.
Um,
please.
but I remember I have a very distinct memory of like the time. I remember, Christmas Eve. It was in California. It was, if I remember correctly, it was like raining, which was really rare because I lived out in the desert. Um, and I remember sitting there with a Nintendo Power magazine on the couch with my dad, who had his like car magazine, and we were just like vibing. We were just chilling with our magazines. It was raining. And my dad would like crank down the air conditioning during Christmas, and then turn the fireplace on just for the atmosphere. And so we were chilling for a bit. I really wanted this thing. I was thinking about it a lot. I remember I had a specific, it was like a Pikmin cover on the Nintendo Power issue, and Christmas came, and my parents have been telling me the entire season, like, we know you want a GameCube. We can't afford one. Just please set your expectations. We can't afford one. And I was like, okay, okay. And we get to Christmas morning, and there's this box that is perfectly sized like a GameCube. And I was like, they did it. Somehow they did it. And I open the box, and it's a box with pants in it. And I remember being like, okay, they said I wasn't getting a GameCube, and so they both of them immediately were like, "I'm so sorry. Did you think that was a GameCube?" And I was like, "It's okay. I'm so thankful for everything you guys got me." And like my dad's like almost in tears. And we kind of moved on and finished up opening presents or whatever. We're finishing up, and there's this little tag on the tree, and my dad is like, "Who put a tag on the tree? Well, like, what are you guys messing around over here? What is this?" And he looks at it and he goes, "Wait, Brandon, is this for you?" And I still have this, by the way. It's in my closet in my room. On the tag it said, "Of your Christmas wish, we are aware you will find something upstairs." And I didn't say anything and ran upstairs. And they were like, wait, what did it say? What did it say? And I was like, "Whoa." And I like ran for it. And I went up there, and there was a big Costco set back in the day when Costco actually had their game stuff out, and it was more exciting than it is now. It was this big setup that had like the GameCube. I think it had an extra controller. I think it was like Spyro. It was not Spyro, sorry, it was Mario Sunshine. And
Hmm.
it also came with a strategy guide. And I just like burst into tears, and I was so excited and freaking out because I was fully convinced that that was not happening. And we had like a big bonus room upstairs, so they had it set up there, and we're all like freaking out. We're all crying together over this GameCube.
Oh,
Um, so that was a very special and like core memory for me. And like I said, I still have that tag. I've never thrown it away. I brought it with me wherever I go.
yeah. Oh,
So yeah, that was some good wholesome deception there, Father.
Gotta love it when they do stuff like that.
oh
I
yeah.
know.
That was
Oh, it was
well
so
thought
good.
out and calculated.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
love that. And
yeah. My dad.
when you're a
Yeah,
kid, you love that kind of stuff. You really eat
yeah,
it up. And I love doing it for the little one. So
yeah.
I get it.
Oh.
Yeah, my dad was like a genius when it came to flipping things around and doing surprises. And so
Hmm.
yeah, that's a very, very special memory for me. Um all right. The next one we have, this is going to be a series of questions. So that was like a special memory for you. The next question is, what was the lowest moment? Mags. Prepared
Okay.
Mags.
Yes. Okay. So I actually don't have a very like specific moment for this one, but I think any point that I get to in a game where I stop having fun,
Mm.
that's the lowest moment for me. And it's happened with several, well, maybe not several, but at least like a decent amount of games over the years where you just feel like I'm playing this and like I kind of feel like I have to finish it or see it through, but it's just not fun anymore. And I felt that way with Loop 8, Summer of Gods. Please don't play that game.
Played it. It's not good.
Bring you way down. It's not good. I felt that with, I think it was called Chris Tales like several years ago. That game
I
was
remember that one.
rough. So for me, like gaming for me is like a way that I can relax and have fun. But when it becomes stressful, or if it becomes something that's not fun anymore, that just takes me out of it. And so that's probably like the lowest moment for me, is just when like it stops becoming what it's supposed to be. So
I
How
feel
about you,
that.
Slam?
Well, I could say Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but
We've already been
it's
there.
like this episode, Slam.
Too
So let's
soon.
not go there.
all right, listen. So I have a hard time thinking of a very specific moment, but I will go for like a period of time where I was just not really gelling with my favorite genre in video games, which was JRPGs. And it was around, I think, like the PS3 era, which is understandable. There just wasn't a lot back then. I actually ended up really getting drawn back in with Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. But there was this period of time prior to that where it was just like I would play a JRPG, and coming off the PS2 era and the PS1, like I had like really high expectations. I was like through the roof about everything that they do with writing and storytelling, and it kind of like molded how I like consumed games and like what I looked for in my favorite video games. And just nothing was hitting. Nothing was providing that for me. And it was a long period of time where I had to like deal with that. So I think that was probably the low point. I do want to highlight Nino Kuni on the PS3 because that was a hit. I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. And then Persona 4 Golden on the Vita got me back. So yeah, there was just a period of time that was a little bit of a lull for me, and I would say that's probably the lowest moment.
Mm. Yeah, I think for me, I don't know if I've told the story on the podcast before, and it's a little personal, but it's fine. I once played Chrono Trigger and it was terrible. No, I'm just kidding. I love it. For me, I'd say it's related to mobile games. So if you guys ever, and you will hear me be a grumpy old man about mobile games and mobile design and live service stuff, you've probably heard it before already, especially if your name is Slam Zany. But when I was super into mobile games, like I remember I was playing Kingdom Hearts UX, Kingdom Hearts UKey, or however it's supposed to be called, Fire Emblem Heroes, and I think it was like Final Fantasy Record Keeper. Those were like my mobile games. And there were aspects of those games that I enjoyed, but I just remember crossing the barrier into paying into those games and how easy it was when there were like special events or things like that that you could pay for. Once you cross that barrier, so easy to just keep paying for things without thinking about it. And the lowest moment for me was at one point when I kind of like sobered up, if you will, and decided to look at my bank account and see how much money I had spent on those games over the last, whatever it was, 6 months to a year. And I had spent thousands of dollars. Like it was wild. And it really woke me up to how predatory these games are. Not just with your time, but also your money. Like they want to make it as easy as possible for you to cross that line, because they are designed to continue having you cross that line once you have psychologically broke that barrier. And I was absolutely a victim for it. And I ended up at the time selling a ton of my rare games to basically recoup the cost, because I was not okay with how much damage that had done over time to my budget. So that was a really low moment for me, and it was a kind of a key turning point for me, when it came to how I viewed the way the industry had kind of started to move forward. We're starting to see some change and slowdown as people are starting to get sick of live service and gacha games and things like that. But it's one of the reasons, like, I've tried to tinker with some gacha games now and again since then, like the Persona 5X or whatever that came out. I tried tinkering with that, but I just can't. I can't get around how predatory that design is, and it makes me really irritated when there are really cool IPs like Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Like the design of that game, the chibi style that goes into the remake battle system. I'm like, if that was a full single player game, like an actual like remake of Seven, not the trilogy, that would be unbelievably cool. Like it would look amazing. But because you have all of the gacha elements and the predatory stuff around that, I just can't. And I've been so burned by that kind of design. So that was a pretty low moment for me.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Next one. What is the biggest achievement in a video game that you're most proud of? Mags, it's just going to be you every time.
Okay, that's
You're
fine.
gonna start.
I know that. I'll just keep that in mind now. Sorry. I would say getting the platinum in Persona 5 Royal.
I also got that one. It's good.
Two.
I'm not like, and I'm just not like an achievement like person. Like I just don't really care. Like I'm gonna play the game. How I'm
Something
gonna play
about
it.
that one though. Yeah.
I know. Just the fact that like there's so much like management you have to do to get everything and like see everything in that game and like max out all the confidants and all that stuff. Like that was just so cool to me. And I don't do it very often, so it was just a nice like achievement to like check it off the list. And I also just loved the game. And getting to see like literally every aspect of it was so cool. So I'm really glad I did it, and I just felt really proud that I was able to do it because it's just that's just not something I really focus on. But it was cool. I can understand why people go for platinums now after getting that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. What about you, Slam?
I also got the Royal Platinum, but there's two really proud moments here. One of them is the Resogun Platinum. That is the most difficult platinum that I've ever tried to get. Just from a skill level, some of those trophies are nuts. And I was obsessed with Resogun when the PS4 came out. It was like all I played because it really didn't really have that many games. And I was like, Resogun seems fun. And then I became obsessed with it. So got the Resogun Platinum, was very proud of that one. And then also when I was a kid, the first game I ever 100% was Wind Waker on the GameCube.
Nice. Wind Waker was so good.
And it was a really hard one to 100%. And as a kid, I was like, dude, I had printed off the strategy guide this thick. Like I went through all the pages. My parents thought I was crazy. They were like, is he okay? Like, do I need to like take him to see someone?
I did that for so many games. I love that so much.
Man,
but yeah,
those were the days.
Yeah, those are my two most proud moments, I think.
Dude, that is so amazing. I remember with Wind Waker, I had this like tape recorder where you could go like, record sounds and then it would play it back on this little track. And when I beat Wind Waker, I loved the ending song so much, and I couldn't figure out where to get the soundtrack that I just recorded it, and I would just take it with me and put headphones in.
That's awesome.
And I found that sucker recently, and I found that track, and I played it, and I got to that part, and it was like, like it sounded so like terrible, and I was like, well, It was a good memory anyway. Time to throw this thing away, but oh man, I love that game so much. Let's see. What's the biggest achievement in a video game that I'm most proud of? Oof. There's so many things that come to mind. I don't know, man. Like I feel like if we're talking recently, it was killing Simon in Expedition 33.
Oh, that's a big
I'm
deal.
just saying. Yeah,
That's a
like
big
the
deal.
fact that I actually pulled that off, I was like, this is crazy. And my mom was there and my children were there, and that just made it feel even more hype. Like, showing my family that I know how to play video games.
Let's go.
That's right. Let's go. As far as like older achievements, I don't know. I feel like, you know what? I do have one for retro games. It was beating Majora's Mask.
That
We've
was
talked
tough
about Majora's Mask a lot.
when
That
we were
game,
kids.
when we were kids, that game was not easy to figure out. And I remember I had a friend that lived down the street named John. Shout out to John.
Shout out, John.
Shout out, John.
And he like would come over and we would work together to play this game and to beat this game. And when we finally did, and we got the fierce deity mask and we just shredded the last boss, it was so good. Like we got all the masks, we did all the things, we got all the hearts, and we beat it. And that felt incredible. It might be one of the reasons I love Majora's Mask so much. Like in terms of the nostalgia piece, I think there are obviously other factors we've talked about several times on this podcast that make it worth checking out. But for me personally, it was a big deal to beat Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So I'll stick with that one for now. There's like a ton of other games that were a big deal for me to beat, but those ones stood out. All right, next question. Oh, isn't this an Inferno Fox one? Why is Final Fantasy VI better than Final Fantasy VII? Well, I'll tell you why.
Though?
Final Fantasy VI is this incredible game that has a cast of characters that are just unbelievable. Can you believe the stories that these characters go through? And Kefka the villain, for this is for you, Stacy, because I know you're listening. Kefka the villain is incredible. One of the greatest Final Fantasy villains that we have ever seen, because he is crazy and wild and he pulls things off that most other villains just can't. And with all of that said, Final Fantasy VII is better.
Thank you.
Have any other thoughts?
I think we are in agreement. I actually like Final Fantasy VII better, so I'm with you.
I love 6.
I love 6 too.
Oh, there you go, Inferno Fox, you troll. All right, we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on.
Okay, this next question is for me from, is it Siren? I see their name all the time, but I don't know how to actually say it out loud, so that's my first attempt. All right. So this one's for me. It says, I remember we briefly talked about the Gaia trilogy, Soul Blazer and Terranigma in particular. Do you own Illusion of Gaia or one of the above two? And in general, what is probably the rarest retro physical you have? That's a great question. So what I don't have Soul Blazer. I want Soul Blazer. It is freaking expensive. I plan on getting it sometime. I have a reproduction card of Terranigma. Don't tell. And I do have Illusion of Gaia. In fact, both of them are up there in that Super Nintendo stack. I have yet to play them. I've tinkered with Terranigma. I've not beat it. I've tinkered a little bit with Illusion of Gaia. I've never played Soul Blazer before, so I have no idea what I'm getting into with that one. As far as the rarest retro physical I have, it's got to be Chrono Trigger. And I have that thing. It's all of the lights are shining off of it because I have it in a plastic case, and I will probably never again open that thing. But because that sucker's worth like, I don't know, something stupid now, like $800. So that's complete in box Chrono Trigger. I would love one day to be as cool as Fem Trooper. I think Eric Ladd has this too, but get a full complete in box Earthbound. But have you looked at those prices lately? Those things are like $4,000.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's wild.
Maybe, I don't know, if I win the lottery one day, or if YouTube really takes off and I can I can afford to just drop 4K on an old game. But that's Chrono Trigger right now is definitely the rarest and most expensive of the retro games that I have. All right, Mags, this one's for you from the same
right.
person. They said, I've mainly known you from Trails when I first got into it and was looking for Trails mutuals, so I know you're all over the series, but are there other popular series you haven't really dived into that you want to get into? Also, apart from Dragon Age, favorite non-JRPG?
Okay, so favorite non-JRPG besides Dragon Age would probably be Mass Effect series. Those two are just so high for me. But I also want to shout out Jack John because that's also an amazing game. And definitely,
I have that back there.
yeah, let's go. But love that game, and I feel like it's been one of the more recent games that I've played that's not a JRPG that I just feel like is amazing. So shout out to that one. Um, as far as series that I want to get into, Dragon Quest, because I've not like
Let's
played it at all.
go.
I've only
At
played
all?
no, I played a little bit of 11, and honestly, like
Okay.
I don't know what
Don't
it
say it.
was. I had a
Don't say
hard
it.
time sticking with it.
Oh,
I knew this was gonna break y'all's
Mags.
hearts. Like when I saw this
Oh.
question and I thought of this answer, I was like, they're gonna fire me.
Oh yeah, that's it. It was a good run. It was a good run. 500
But-
subs and it's over.
Yeah. RIP. No, I think when I played it, I didn't have like the appreciation of JRPGs that I do now, like at least
Okay.
like in the wider scope of them all.
Sure.
And so I want to give it another try, and I really want to give a lot of the games a try because I just feel like it's this big like void that I've not played that so many people love, and I hear you guys both talk about it all the time.
Love Dragon
And
Quest.
so, I mean, the slimes, like you can both see slimes in your background.
Let's go.
Obviously.
Yep.
So that's one, and then playing like the Final Fantasy games that I've missed too.
Sorry, everybody. We had some technical hiccups, but go ahead, Max.
Yeah. So just to add to Dragon Quest, I'd also really love to play the older Final Fantasy games that I've missed. So those two are probably the ones that I'd really like to catch up on, since I just feel like those are kind of missing as far as my JRPG experience goes.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot to love about Dragon Quest. I mean, and Final Fantasy, obviously, but there's a lot of places to start. I loved 11. Especially if you see it all the way through, like the storytelling in that game
It
is
does
so
take a
good.
while to get going. I'll give you credit there. Some
Yeah.
people stopped, and I've talked to people about it, and it's like, man, I really didn't get super into it at first, and it took me going back to it and getting far into the game for, I think once you have that full party of characters, like, man, that game starts singing. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
and I think I do want to give it another try because I just feel like I wrote it off too soon. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dragon Quest 3 is really good if you're interested in starting with the retro stuff. Obviously, 1 and 2's coming out. What's it?
End of this month.
Next week?
Yeah.
End of
it's
the month. Yeah. Something like that. And that's gonna be exciting as well. Those are tied together in a trilogy. I'm gonna assume that based on the fact that they've done 1, 2, and 3, that they're gonna be doing 4, 5, and 6 because that's also its own
And I love
trilogy.
5. I love 5
Yeah.
a lot.
5 is amazing. 4 is really good as well.
But that 7
6, I have not
remake,
beat.
do not don't sleep on that, man. I'm so excited. 7's such a great game.
That's gonna be amazing, and that means 8's coming, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So there's a lot of good Dragon Quest stuff out there. Shout outs to Dragon Quest, and then obviously Final Fantasy. You got the Pixel remasters and stuff. So
Yeah.
and 6 is genuinely a wonderful game. Lorak, I know you're listening. Shout outs to 6. So that's a good one to check out for sure. Word. All right. I got another one for me from our buddy Nish Quick Pops. Shout outs to Nish Quick Pops. If you haven't checked out his channel, go check out his channel.
For sure.
It says, how has it been getting your family into your passion of gaming? Your daughter seemed to love playing some of the same games as you, and even your mom seems to vibe with certain OSTs as well. Yeah. So I've always been the nerd in the family. Like when I was, growing up, my sister would watch games that I played. My parents never super got into it, but I've always gushed about it anyway. That's why I'm here, honestly. It gives me an excuse to gush more. But more recently, yeah, having my two little ones playing games with me have been super fun. It's been really exciting introducing them to games. It's been an interesting thing introducing them to games as a dad as well, because I'm thinking about things a little bit differently as a dad. Um, what mechanics are simple enough for them, what stories are appropriate, like how are they showing the characters, and I have little girls, right? So like, what's the representation look like in this, right? Um, and Pokemon is an easy entry point for just about anybody. That's been really fun to get the girls into. Um, Lauralee has been super. Speaking of Dragon Quest, she loves Dragon Quest because in Dragon Quest 3, um, in the HD 2D remake, you can basically build your party. So your hero, and then you hire your other characters. And so I had a character named Lauralee, and she was a mage because Lauralee loves Elsa and Anna from Frozen, just like every other 5-year-old girl on the planet. Um, and, and so when she was a sage, and she could use these crazy magic attacks to blow stuff up, she was like, "That's me! I'm the strongest girl in the game!" Like she was so into it. So it's stuff like that she's really really loved. Samira, my youngest, is she's 3, so I'm not like introducing her in the same way, but she likes to watch things, and I've introduced them to some of the music. Um, and honestly, like I'm preaching to the choir here because we're all a bunch of nerds, but these soundtracks are just, it doesn't matter what medium you're interested in. Like they're so freaking good. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Fire Emblem 3 Houses and the Final Fantasy, like just a ton of different Final Fantasy music and Zelda and all this stuff. Introducing them to the kids and my mom has been so easy. Like my mom right now, today, we were driving and Funeral of Flowers came on from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. That's the boss battle theme for the White Path. Um, and she loved it. She's like, "Oh, stop!" Right? Because I have a playlist. Stop it here. She wants to listen to it, and so I'm like, "Here, let me introduce you to like Rhea's theme so that you can see how those themes connect in this song and like what it means musically and thematically." And she's so into it. So it's just fun. And now that I'm doing YouTube stuff, they're like more interested because of course they're like, "Hey, whenever a video drops, my dad will be like, 'I was the first one,' right?" Um, so they're watching my content, and they don't understand 50% of it, but they're excited because I'm excited and I'm doing something with it. So it's been fun. It's been fun watching them get into it. I'm trying to get my mom to play the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem right now because I think it's a good entry point if you've never played any strategy games to just like do the tutorial and kind of learn how it all works. So I wanted to do that because I keep being like, "Mom, I'm trying to get you to 3 Houses. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, but you got to do this one first, right?" So she's gonna get into it. She's been super busy the last few days. She's doing. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Operation Christmas Child, like the shoebox ministry. If you've heard of that, she's very involved in that. So she's been super busy doing a bunch of stuff with churches. But when she gets some downtime, she told me that she's gonna get into Fire Emblem. So I'm very excited about that. Hopefully that answers your questions, Nish. Happy to do any follow-ups with that one as well. But all right. Next one from Merrick's and Robertus Maximus 42. What a name. We have a couple of questions and we kind of combine them together. The first one is for all three of us. I'd love to know what got you started in content creation and when you realized this could be more than just a hobby. And then wait, sorry. And then in addition to that, similar question, but added on at the end, how long until it really started to take off?
Who goes first?
Mags, of course. She's prepared.
Cool.
Okay, so I feel like I could define my journey as just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Because so I used to write for a newspaper and I was an entertainment writer. And while I didn't exclusively write about games, I did write about a lot. And it was a fun job, but it was difficult. And I left that job in March of 2020 and
Mm.
was not thinking about ever really going back into writing or doing anything of the sort. I was still like yapping about trails on Twitter at that time, but that was about all I was doing.
Sure.
So, because of that, though, I actually, like, a few months later in that same year was when Lucas from Nintendo Force reached out to me and
Mm.
was like, hey, I need someone to write a review for Trails of Cold Steel 3 on Switch. I saw that you used to write for a newspaper. I see that you know about the Trails series. Could you do it? And I was like, I thought about it because I was like, I don't know if I want to get back into this. Like, journalism is a tough field. And I know there's a question coming up about that, and I can elaborate more on that with that answer. But I don't know. At first, I wasn't sure, but then I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? And then that ended up becoming like a permanent gig for me where I could, I was able to stay with Nintendo Force. I still write for them. It's still an amazing opportunity, and I'm super thankful. And then now, like, before you guys reached out to me to be on this show, I had kind of like stopped tweeting a lot about games because it was just so negative, and I just felt like it was
Mm.
better to not really engage as much as I was. But then I don't know. You guys asked me to be on a guest, or you asked me to be a guest on this show, and I'm forever thankful for that, obviously. But it kind of pulled me back into just more of engaging with people about games on social media and Discord, and just kind of getting back into it. So for me, like, I don't know if I ever had a specific plan, but I was kind of just like drawn into it. And maybe that doesn't happen for everybody, but sometimes I just think things like that happen and it's really
Mm.
cool. And so for me, like, I'm thankful for the things that have happened so far, and I'm looking forward to what's next. So
I'm thankful for it too, because I do think you're one of the more positive and wholesome people that, talks about gaming. You can tell you really care
Yeah.
about this stuff. So
oh, thanks.
we didn't want you to walk away, Mags.
I wasn't walking away. I don't know. It was just funny. It was like I was not even like really engaging that much. And then I get this Twitter DM from Brandon about the show. And I'm like, okay, sure. And now look. So it's just, I don't know. It's just it's cool the way that it's unfolded. And I'm super thankful for it. But I feel like it's definitely unconventional. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
I guess my like main message is like, you just never know what might happen. So
Yeah,
sure.
keep yourself open to the possibilities of it all.
Yeah.
What about you, Slam?
Am I up next?
Yep.
All right. So
Yep.
I had kind of a long journey through all this. So I started in writing as well. I wrote for a website. I wrote and was an editor for the Game Fanatics for a long time. Did some reviews, and then I wrote some YouTube scripts for them as well. And then I moved on to my own website like I had for a while, where I did video game reviews and stuff like that. That no longer exists. It's not up, so don't go looking for it.
Don't even try it.
And then I went into just YouTube, and I did just very general gaming stuff. I still have a lot of really old videos on my channel. I really haven't taken anything down or turned anything private. So if you want to go dig into some of my
Scarlet
old stuff,
Nexus, baby.
yeah, you could
Scarlet Nexus?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that
I hyped
one.
that one up so
Done.
much. But you
Yes.
could even go back further than that, where I was really just getting started. And I leave those up. I know a lot of people hide those when they start being successful. I leave those up as kind of like, I don't know, maybe someone sees the progress you make and is inspired to do something themselves, or it helps them kind of understand that, like, hey, this gets better with time. Practice makes perfect. Like, we're not all just jumping on YouTube and being great content creators the second we make our first video. I started this on my own, did my own video editing, did my own script writing, did my own like cuts of gameplay, all of it. And I still do that today. And it's just one of those things where the effort has to be there. This has to be your passion. And for me, it was. I love talking about video games. When I grew up, I loved just playing video games. And one of my favorite things to do is just like go to school and talk about the experiences I was having and share those experiences with other people having those same experiences. And I feel like now today, that's kind of what I use YouTube for as an outlet. And I feel like my community and my comment section and our Discord and everything like that, being able to like make videos and have people kind of, talk about the videos you're making and the games that you're playing and things like that is just what makes all of this worth it, in my opinion. So I think, it's just from all over the place, just my passion for video games, talking about video games, playing video games, and just creating content. And that's how I got started. And that's how I got to where I am today.
Word. Love it. Yeah, for me, it's kind of a weird, unconventional journey. I've been in the customer education space for many, 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 many years. So I've done trainings and I've built courses and I've done, the curriculum documentation, all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of writing, a lot of teaching, a lot of presenting. And I got a new job where they didn't have anything and I needed to build everything from scratch. It was at a startup. And so I knew of a video editing software that is pretty typical in the education space called Camtasia. And I was like, hey, just get me Camtasia and I'm just going to go down the YouTube rabbit hole and I'm going to figure it out because someone's got to do it. So I'm going to do it. So I went down the YouTube rabbit hole of, all of the like YouTube gurus, right? The guys who are like, here's how you do your videos and here's how you niche down and all that kind of stuff. And I just I researched the heck out of it. And I got pretty excited about it and started experimenting and doing stuff for my job. And then I was like, you know what? I remember having conversations with friends in the past where they were like, man, I feel like you missed your calling as just like, I don't know, like a Nintendo Treehouse guy or someone who is like at the forefront of gaming, hyping it up and excited about it because you're never shutting up about games, which was absolutely true. So I thought, you know what? I'm learning video editing. What if I, on the side, keep practicing editing and these other skills by doing my own YouTube channel and then pulling that, what I'm learning, back into work, right? So having some sort of synergy there. And so I hemmed and hawed about what I would call my channel, and I went with something boring like Retro Brandon because why not? And I started my channel, and I did a couple of videos where I literally just experimenting, like what am I seeing my favorite creators do? How are they making videos? What's successful? What's not successful? And started experimenting. And so I did several videos where I was trying to do some short lists, and then I was trying to do reviews, and the video that hit for me, it was actually, I think it was only like my fourth or fifth video, was a list on JRPGs that could come back, or that should come back, and that video just flew through the stratosphere for me because I was getting, like 100 views, and then suddenly I had a video that was over 100,000. And there was a lot that came with that. Like some people are like, "Wow, that's so great! Like so much success, blah blah blah." But it was a pretty wild experience because like I was hit for the first time with the full force of the negativity of the internet. Like the things that I was seeing in the comment section were uh some horrible things because I decided to just like randomly make a list, and I didn't know what people normally talked about. I didn't know what kinds of games people wanted to see. I was just like, hey, there's some like PS2 and Xbox 360 gems that I'd love to see come back. I'm just going to make a video about it. And people were like angry that I wasn't choosing some other games that should be on a list like that, et cetera, et cetera. You've probably all seen it before in comment sections. And I also was like, should I be expecting my videos to do this well from now on? Which they did not. Like, I've had some successful videos, but I've heard it called the curse of virality before, where when you get something that hits really hard, it just like changes your psyche. You're like, oh, I have different expectations now. And that was hard. And I figured out that I needed to connect with other people who were doing content creation, because I couldn't do this alone. And I was having a hard time with it. And I honestly almost quit because it was just overwhelming. It was a lot of work. There was a lot of emotions in the comment section. And so I just started randomly emailing content creators. Shoot your shot is what I say. I didn't think anybody would respond, but I emailed like beat 'em ups. I emailed Scott the Waz. I emailed like a few other big creators, and then I emailed Taylor from the Gaming Shelf. And Taylor responded. He was the only one that responded to me. Shout outs to Tay. We'll have him back on here. And he was basically like, hey, your video just showed up in my feed. And I was just thinking about, hey, who's this new creator? And then I got an email from you. And he connected me with a bunch of other creators. And we started talking through things and learning together. And ultimately, that's how I met Slam, through FemTrooper.
Yeah, shout out to FemTrooper.
Shout outs to Paige. Yep. So, yeah, that was a long, convoluted story, but it just kind of got to get into it and keep going. And I think something that I've learned a lot from Slam really is just like keep going. If this is something that you're having fun doing, if you have passion for it, sometimes you're going to get some big hitters, sometimes you're not. What's important is you keep going. You keep going, and you learn as you go, right? And that constant learning, constantly looking for something to improve, that goes a long way. So, but find friends, find people to talk to about this. Don't do this alone.
Yeah,
I
did that for a long time, actually. I think it wasn't until I hit like 5,000 or 6,000 subs, and like I had already been doing it for a couple years, and it's a much different experience doing it on your own than it is with other creators that you can bounce ideas off of, collaborate with, get feedback on your content where you can improve, get inspiration from. All these things are super important.
Yep. Those are great questions. All right. Let's move on to the next one. This one is for Slam from both Nish and Saren. I'll try to bring some of this together. So, how do you effectively balance work, content creation with your busy job? It's super inspiring to see someone like you kill it at both. And let's see, how do you manage that? So, social life and family. Any other hobbies? Do you cut sleep to keep up with everything? Looking for tips. Slam.
Okay, so Brandon knows, because he lectures me on this all the time, that I don't sleep much. I should sleep more, and that's probably going to change. I'm going to make a very serious effort to get more sleep.
Heard it here, everyone.
Yeah, and he's going to be accountable to Retro Brandon. Let's go.
So I would say structure and be disciplined. I literally set alarms on my phone to be like, I'm going to play this game for 2 hours. And I'm not going to do anything else for that 2 hours. I'm not going to pick up my phone and scroll on the pause screen. I'm not going to jump on Discord. I'm not going to like browse the internet. I'm not going to stop mid-session. I'm going to play this game 2 hours. When it comes to video editing or putting together a video or a script, I have a structure in place where it's like, okay, I'm going to finish work, and then for 3 hours after work, I'm going to work on content, right? And then that's what I do. I treat it a little bit like a job, in that sense, where it's just like, this is my set time to do content today. Sometimes I do, like, this is a creative medium, so sometimes you get that creative itch or an idea where it's like all that structure kind of goes out the window and it's 2 a.m. and you're like, I'm going to write a script. But I think the most important thing is don't let it take over either. You know, you need to get outside of the content stuff. Spend time with your friends, spend time with your family. Don't work yourself to the bone. Like, enjoy life. You know what I mean? And all these things will come together for you. Also, I know a lot of people are like really strict with themselves. Like, I have to put out a video every week, or I have to do this. I've gone 3 weeks without putting out a video. I've gone a month without putting out a video. I took a break on my channel for 2 years. The thing is, and don't worry, I don't plan on doing that again. But the thing is, it's like, don't force yourself to do this. You know what I mean? If you don't feel inspired to make a video, don't. If you don't want to make a video that week, don't. You know what I mean? Just like, do what's natural for you. You know, make a video when you want to make a video, when you feel that like creative itch, when you have an idea that you feel like that you're passionate about and you want to get out there, and take the time to make it. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but like, be proud of it when you release it. That's more important to me always than timing or making sure you have something up at a certain day. I think just like structure it for whatever fits your situation. Everybody's unique, you know, but having some discipline and not getting sidetracked, I think, is very important. And don't be like me and cut sleep. You should sleep.
Thank you for saying that, Slam. I
You're
appreciate you. And,
I knew you'd like that.
Yep. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Mags, for you, what are some of the best and worst changes you have seen and had to get used to over the years when you worked on gaming journalism?
Yeah,
Or worked
well,
in gaming journalism?
yeah. So I'll start with the worst because I want to end it on a positive note. I feel like some of the worst things that I've seen and I've had to like work through are layoffs.
Mm.
Because there's just a lot of consolidation in media and there's just a lot of like advertising dollars going down, so not having as much money, and people, and along with that, a lot of institutional knowledge gets lost. So that's definitely a worrying trend, and that's still happening, and it was happening after I was fresh out of college at my first job. It was really tough to see, so that's definitely a rough spot. Another spot would be just clickbaity titles and content that really doesn't say a whole lot because people are just rushing to be the first one to post about something. And you lose a lot of just value in content when that's your goal, when you're just trying to meet a certain metric. I remember when I worked at the newspaper, we had a TV screen that showed all of our stories and how many people were looking at them and how many views they had gotten that day. And the more I think about it, I'm just like, man, like that was so unhealthy because your mood and like how you felt about like the work that you were doing could change based on how many people were looking at it. And I know it's important still. Obviously, you want to have people engage with the work that you're doing, but I think focusing on that specifically all the time can be unhealthy, and it's led to a lot of pretty bad trends as well in the field because like everyone's just trying to get clicks and not really thinking more deeply about the content that they're making. So those I think are some of the worst things that I've seen. But I do think that with a lot of that comes a renewed importance on making sure that you have and develop an audience. And that's always been important. And I think that's continuing to be important now. And I think that's a good thing. And I think if you can establish yourself as someone who has good things to say and can say them well and can be entertaining and engaging, then the audience is going to find you and they're going to be loyal and they're going to support you. And I think that's the most important thing. So I think a lot of people who have been successful and are successful now in content creation have kind of figured that out and have really kind of learned how to maximize their audience. And so I think that's a good thing because really that's what you're making the content for. So you should really show your audience that you care and give them good information. And then I think also that there's just a lot of really good people making content still. And even though they're harder to find, um, there's just, I think there's just a lot more out there now that you can engage with than you would have been able to before the internet.
Right.
So yeah, I think that even though the internet's kind of been rough in some ways for journalism, at least it's opened the door to be able to find a lot more people than you would have before. So I think those are some of the worst and the best trends so far that I've seen.
It's a great answer.
All right. Yeah.
I thought about that one a lot before we filmed this because I was like, man, that's a good question. But yeah. And also, I want to shout out.
These are all great questions.
Yeah, they are. I do. One other thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm very fortunate now to write for a publication that doesn't we don't have like that motivation. Like we are a print magazine that's supported by subscribers. And so we don't have to worry about like clickbait or trying to get like so many views on a certain thing because we know what our audience wants and we give that to them. And there's just not that like weird pressure there. And so I'm just very thankful that I can, be in a spot where that's the focus, the content's the focus, and having it be something unique and fun is the focus. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. All right. This next one, we have a combination of questions from Saren, that random NPC, and PNG Monk.
I love all the names.
So they're similar. I think these are going to be similar, but I'll read through here. So as a content creator, and particularly reviewers, does this impact how you enjoy games? I feel like a lot of people in this space play games just to finish them and move on to the next. So I'm curious on your mentality. Let's see. And then some of the other ones I'm seeing if it does impact you, do you take any steps to prevent that from happening? And let me see. And do you ever get burnout? And what's a palate cleanser? That's kind of like the combination of the questions.
Yeah, they all asked very similar things. That's why I put them together.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, like, how does it affect? Like, how does being a reviewer affect how you consume games? Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Mags, you're up.
Okay. All right. So yes, it does affect how I consume games. I used to play games a lot more slowly, and I still feel like I lean more towards the slow side compared to a lot of people who review games. And I'm thankful that with Nintendo Force, like, we don't worry about embargoes as much, thankfully, because by the time our magazine's out, that review it's out, but like that game's probably been out for a little bit. So I'm thankful for that. But I think so. I think there's a pressure that comes with that just to play more games because you want to be able to cover more games as you go throughout the year and as they release throughout the year. So I think it does, but I sometimes still try to remind myself that this is something fun. And even if I don't meet a certain date that I've set for myself to finish a game, it's going to be fine. And I think you just have to give yourself that freedom sometimes. Like sometimes it's just not going to work. You're just not going to like hit this certain thing that you planned, and that's okay. And as far as palate cleansers go, I love a good visual novel or adventure game or Western RPG like Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that sometimes just to mix it up. Because as much as I love JRPGs, I do think sometimes if you play them back to back to back and they're all very long, you need something to kind of break that up. So that's my strategy.
Sure. I kind of echo a lot of what Mag said.
Yeah.
So I just had probably my busiest month of reviewing since I started content creation. So go check out my channel. Got a lot of
videos.
Got a lot of reviews up there. But I think, it definitely does affect it. And it's so I used to like consume games at a very like random pace where I would like play 8 hours and then like maybe I take a break for a few days and then play it. But when it comes to reviewing games, again, with content creation, like I said before, I got to be a little bit more disciplined where I do make the effort to set aside time for a specific game, where it's like, this is what I'm playing at this time on this day for this long. And I actually look ahead to embargoes to be like, how many hours of this game do I need to play prior to embargo to make content for it? Because ultimately, I really do try to finish or get as close to finishing the game before I like ultimately give my opinions on it. And if I'm not able to, I make sure to like relay that into the video and frame my content around my experience that way. But I think before content creation and reviewing, I used to be a little bit more of a completionist. I used to try to see and do everything. I used to spend 100 hours in a 50-hour game. I used to replay more games. I used to go and finish a game and then replay it immediately. I've done that several times. So I don't get to do a lot of that anymore, unfortunately. I'll revisit a game maybe months later during some downtime. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of downtime lately, but I really do like to revisit my favorite games. Like it's one of my things. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't like to replay games. Once I'm done with a game, I'm done. But I see games as kind of like a nice moment in time. But so many things change with how you experience a game, depending on the time of year, where you play it, how you feel, like what kind of life experiences are you going through at any given moment. It could come your second playthrough, depending on all those things, could completely change your opinion on a game. It really can. Take my word for it. It's happened to me several times. So I don't get to do a lot of that anymore, and that's unfortunate. But I do get to play a lot of games, and I get to give my opinions on these games, and I hopefully get to provide some insight and help people make, decisions on whether they not only want to spend their money on a game, but spend their time. Because I think that's important as well, especially in JRPGs where they're so long.
Yeah.
And then as for palate cleansers, Brandon knows this. I need palate cleansers pretty regularly with JRPGs, and I will pick up some random thing. Metal Gear Solid, like was one, or I'm gonna say Kojima here. It's like Death Stranding. I played both of those this year, and then or Ghost of Yotei or Spider-Man. Or like these other games that are just completely out of the realm of JRPGs. It helps me to come back, like center myself in that mode and enjoy a game, because if I play them all back to back to back to back to back, it does affect how I feel about an overall experience, and I can't help that. It's just the way it is. But yeah, it does alter how you play games for sure.
Yeah, for me, I'm still honestly trying to figure this out. One of my if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I'm not coming out with weekly videos. Sometimes it can be a couple weeks, sometimes it can be a month. Um, I want to beat the games that I play. In fact, the games that I am most interested in making content for, I typically have not played before. So I like getting to the end, rolling credits, so that I can give my sort of definitive take on the game. And in a genre like this, with JRPGs, that's kind of a challenge because some of those games are literally hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to figure out a little bit. Tactics, for example, I mentioned I have a video coming out on the Ivalice Chronicles, but I did a lot of talking about it in different mediums, and I did a video about an earlier version of the game before I even had a chance to get my hands on the Ivalice Chronicles. So I'm trying to find ways to like bring some of those things together. Um, and like Slam said, you do have to be more disciplined. I think, if you're just playing a game and you don't have to worry about creating content, you could play the game, you could doom scroll, you could do whatever, and it is what it is, right? You'll get to the end of the game when you're done. But especially in our day and age, there are games constantly coming out, and if you're actually trying to review things, like you gotta stay on top of it, and that's not easy at all. Back in the day, enjoying games, you just you could get what you could get, right? You could like only afford so much as a kid, or your parents would only buy you so much, right? So you just kind of got it and you treasured that thing and you played it and you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And some of our like core gaming memories come from
Mhm.
those experiences. And moving into content creation, um, there aren't that many opportunities to do something like that unless it's a fairly brief game, right? Um, so like Claire Obscure this year, right? That was a good moment in time game because it was
Yeah,
not
I
only
agree.
incredible, but it was not short, but manageable, right? It wasn't 100-hour RPG, so it feels like you got a lot out of a little bit of time, and that felt really great. And making a like I made a video about that, even though it technically doesn't fit my channel. It's a retro channel, but I just loved it so much. I'm like, I got to talk about this, right? Um, so yeah, it can be kind of a challenge, right? Because you have to be more disciplined. It's not just for the fun of it if you're trying to make something out of it. But none of us would be here if we didn't love these games and weren't having a fun time, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So that's a big part of it. As far as palate cleansers go, for me, um, I have had some palate cleansers like Stardew Valley is a go-to palate cleanser for me. I just freaking love that game. And there's some other ones like Guitar Hero or other things like that that are different, but I not that these guys don't genuinely love JRPGs, but like I am obsessed with JRPGs. Like I when someone's like, "Okay, but for real, what other games do you play?" I'm like, "I don't." Like I genuinely just like lock in on RPGs, and like a palate cleanser for me might be going from whatever Final Fantasy to Fire Emblem because it's different enough that it feels like a different experience, but it's still a JRPG, so it has all the things that I love and that I want, right? So um that's kind of where I'm at. I enjoy other games as well, but it's harder for me to want to jump in on some of those things. Like once I'm in, I can be in, but yeah, I you don't find me as often jumping into non JRPGs, I would say. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. All right, we got a few more here. Let's see. For everyone, this is we have some overlap here from Tay, from the Gaming Shelf, and Robertus Maximus. So for everyone, what is the first JRPG you ever played / the game that made you fall in love with the genre?
All right.
Go, Mags.
Okay. So the first one would be Pokemon Silver.
Let's go.
It was the one of the first games I ever played anyway. And so that one is always special for that reason. And I feel like it also just kind of like opened my mind up to like what a game could be as far as like the exploration, the combat, talking to different characters, like having a team that you develop and build. And I just immediately connected with all of that, and I think that that's affected me until now, and that's why I gravitate towards JRPGs a lot. But I would say the one that really like connected me to the genre like more than anything else was Persona 5. And because I played it maybe like 2000 slam. I played it like not too long after it came out. And I mean, I had played JRPGs before that and enjoyed them, but that game really like showed me how special they could be.
Mm,
And ever
it's real
since then,
good.
that's pretty much all I've played because I played a lot of other games kind of like until I got to that point. Like a lot of different genres, a lot of Western RPGs, a lot of more like adventure style games. And like those are all still good. But like ever since I played Persona 5 for the first time, I've just kind of like stuck with JRPGs. So it also led me to the Trails series, which I mean, come on. Um, I'd finished Persona 5 and I was looking for similar games, and like Trails of Cold Steel popped up in an article, and that's how I got into the series. So I owe a lot to Persona 5, and I think it's always going to be special for those reasons.
All right, so
So
before we go to Slam, then, what is one JRPG you would say defines you as a JRPG gamer?
oh, okay. It's gotta be Trails in the Sky.
Yeah, it
Scrub
was.
those.
Yeah.
All right, moving
We
on.
already
You
know
know, you just had to say.
Do you need me
it.
to
Yeah,
explain it? No, I don't think
No, you
anyone
don't.
needs
Yeah,
me
yeah.
to explain that. So anyway,
Brandon's
Slam.
reaction is so good. First game, I guess if we're including Pokemon, it would be Pokemon Blue. For me, I was obsessed. That was like one of the first games I ever really became obsessed with. Loved Pokemon Red and Blue. But if we're not going to include Pokemon, I think it's going to be the PS1 era where I really got into Final Fantasy VII. So, yeah. And then as for the game that made me fall in love with the genre, that's a really hard one. And I think it's probably going to be, weirdly enough, The Legend of Dragoon.
Let's go. I knew it was coming. It was going to get here at some point.
Yeah, I became so obsessed. Again, my uncle's going to come up here because he's a big JRPG guy. I was on the phone with him, like, how do I do this? Like, what am I supposed to do? And he was like, did you do this? Did you do that? No, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. And he was like, come on, man, get with the program. This is how I learned. This is like I think this was like the game I learned on. Like, learned how to play like a real JRPG. That was The Legend of Dragoon. And as far as the JRPG that defines me, I mean, we already know the answer, right? It's already been talked about enough here.
No.
Yeah.
It's
What is it,
Persona 5. Dude,
What?
let's go.
Never saw that coming.
Come
oh my
on.
gosh. What a
Is there a
twist.
better game on the
What
planet
a
ever
twist.
made? The answer is no. Okay, we've got Persona 3 Reload jackets on. I've got a Persona 4 shirt on. Okay, but
Let's
Persona
go.
5 is where my heart will always be. It's just
There's
such
going to be a lot of Persona love in this episode
it's
coming up here
it's
shortly.
just so special. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. That's it for me. Brandon. it's your
All
turn.
right. First JRPG that I've ever played. It's Pokemon, but we've already said Pokemon. So I'm gonna say actually the surprise twist here, because I never beat it, was actually Dragon Quest. I think one or two on the Game Boy Color. My buddy let me borrow it. I had no idea what it was, and I loved it. And I remember walking around with the little caskets behind me because my characters kept
We're
dying.
dead.
So it must have been
Yeah.
two. Yeah. So that was something that I didn't even realize I got into. But the game that made me fall in love with the genre, I've told the story before, so I'll keep it brief, was Final Fantasy VIII. I made fun of my friends for playing Final Fantasy because it was a fantasy game, and oh, you love fantasy. And then my friend, who's been on this podcast before, told me to sit down, shut up, and play Final Fantasy VIII. And I became totally obsessed, and that was like the entry point that made me obsessed with Square. And I just bought every single Square anything I could possibly find, and that was the beginning of that. As far as what defines me as a JRPG gamer, this is
I
a hard one
have
for
I have
me.
an answer in mind, and I want to
you-
see if it's right.
Give me your answer. I don't know if I have an answer. There's too many. There's too many that I like love so deeply. It's hard to pick one.
It's gonna be Fire Emblem, and it's probably gonna be Three Houses.
Okay.
I think that's a good one.
Fire Emblem is a
I'd say-
series, maybe the original.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
the original. I'd
Yeah.
say the original.
I know you
That's-
like Three
it-
Houses so much. You're obsessed with it. You spent like
I know.
500 hours in that game.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's hard because like Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy, like Chrono Trigger, like all of these are like formative for me. Dragon Quest, but yeah, like Fire Emblem is good. I love Fire Emblem. So
I answered the question for Brandon, so there
thank
we
you,
go.
Slam.
Let it be
I
known.
appreciate that.
Let it be known.
All right.
Let it be known.
Okay, so this one we're gonna do quick succession. There's one for me, Slam, and then Mag. So the first one from Shinobi. Shout outs to Sean. What is the game you own the most copies of, and what is the story behind why? I'll be quick with the story. It's Persona 4, and it's because I have a problem. And it's because once I got into Persona, I just like Persona 4 Golden was my entry point into that series and I become obsessed. So I actually got it out here for you. I have the original Persona 4. I have Persona 4 Golden on the Vita.
Let's
I
go.
have Persona 4 Golden on the Switch.
Let's go.
And then I have the holographic variant of Persona 4
Let's
on the Switch.
go.
And then I have the deluxe version of Persona 4 on the Switch. And then
Let's
I
go.
have the
I gotta wait.
collector's version
Let's
of Persona 4 on
That's
the
what I
Switch.
was waiting for. That's the big
Yeah.
let's go.
So, so I have a lot of Persona 4. Some honorable
dude,
mentions.
Do you like Persona 4?
Maybe a little bit, yep. Some honorable mentions for me were the early Final Fantasy games because there were so many remasters of them, and I have them all. Chrono Trigger, I have every version of Chrono Trigger. If you include digital, I also have it on my phone and Steam. So there's some others where I got a lot. Slam. Oh, geez. What
This question.
elevates Persona 5 Royal to you compared to the original?
Sure. I think a lot of the answers here are pretty obvious, right? Persona 5 Royal is better in almost every way. I mean, you get the extra semester, you get like 30% more content. I really liked the new characters. I know some people don't, apparently, because of the comments in my comment section of my new video.
What?
Yeah, the one where I listed Persona 5 Royal is one of the better stories.
Oh, I saw those comments.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that was in your video.
Yeah, I know, right? Completely out of nowhere.
What a surprise.
Unexpected.
The
Most
last
unexpected
Crazy.
entry
Yeah.
in the list.
Crazy.
But I'm gonna go with the quality of life upgrades. Mementos is actually playable.
Drive through Mementos.
Yeah, it's amazing. It actually makes that section of the game not terrible. The trophies are so much better in Royal. Oh my god. If you tried to platinum the original Persona 5, it was an absolute nightmare. You're probably most likely not going to be able to do it in one playthrough. You can platinum Royal in one playthrough if you put the effort in.
We know.
We talked about
that. And so I think Royal is just the more all-around better game for a long list of reasons. But the original is amazing too, and it's the game I fell in love with, and I still would put it as like Persona 5 Royal is like, that's my favorite game of all time. Like that, without question, it's one of the best games ever made.
One thing about Persona 5 base game that's better than Royal,
sure,
that they changed,
mm-hmm.
was that you could cheese the Reaper by distressing it
you
and
could
then
do
killing
that.
it and leveling up insanely fast. And that kind of grinding that's my jam.
Yep. You could cheat in the first one, and of course Brandon would love that.
It's not cheating. It's taking advantage of the mechanics that exist, Slam. All right.
That's true. Fair.
Mags. Oh my gosh, I can answer this question, dude. Shinobi, why are you even asking this question, brother? If you have to pick one Trails game to keep forever and the rest vanish, which would it be, and why is it Trails in the Sky?
Well, it would be this one right here.
I'm shocked.
But I will say that when we get the eventual second chapter,
that'll be the better one.
That'll be the one. That'll be the one.
Oh, interesting.
Because I've played all of them, and Sky second chapter I think is a bit better than first chapter. I mean, they're both amazing.
It's the best game and the best trilogy.
Yes,
of that whole series.
Yeah, and so I think that remake is going to be incredible. So when that comes out, that will be the one. But for now, since we don't have it, it's
first chapter.
So
good call.
Anyway. Okay.
I know everyone's surprised, but
shocked even. Yeah. All right. So the next one, this is for all of us. We're gonna have to keep these a little bit more brief for the sake of time. I don't even know where we're at in terms of timing on this one.
Oh, it's fine. Just keep it rolling.
It's okay. It's a long one.
If you could live in one JRPG world, which one would it be and why? I want as much detail as you can muster.
Uh-oh.
This is by Sith
pressure.
Scott. Shout out to Sith Scott.
Mm-hmm.
But
Max, are you okay with
for this one?
Did you prepare an answer for this one?
I did. I prepared an
Yeah,
answer for all of
yeah,
them.
of course you did. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think, Slam?
Well, I would pick the world of Trails, obviously. Um,
Have you
because
seen the bugs? Have you seen the bugs?
Hear me out. Hear me out, okay? One of the really cool things about Trails that you'll notice as you play more of the games is how fast technology is developing within a short
Mm,
amount of time because of orbments, because of how they've had the orbital revolution and how their technology has gotten better. And I just think it's so cool to see that innovation take place.
mm,
And being in that world, I feel like would be so interesting because like every day you would be able to see like crucial and like dynamic changes in how your life was, which might be a little stressful, but I think it would be cool.
mm,
And also just getting to have an orbment, I feel like would be awesome. In fact, in future games, it's actually like a part of your phone. So it's like all in one device. And so that's really cool. But I just think like being in this world where technology is advancing so quickly and you're getting to see innovation take place so fast, like that's just fascinating to me. And so
mm.
not only is it because I love the series, but also I just feel like it would be cool to kind of be a fly on the wall as all of that is happening. And plus, I would get to be besties with Estelle. Are you kidding me? Like you'd get to know all of these great characters. Why are you
I
giving
mean,
me that look?
so that's the thing about this question that I'm struggling with. The question is like, is this us as we are right now? Which means we would be unprepared NPCs in worlds where there are giant 5-foot bees with stingers that could destroy you in one hit? Or is this like we grew up in this world and we were trained like our favorite characters, and so we can like not just live in it, but like thrive in it? You know what I mean?
I mean, I
However you
think,
want to look at it.
yeah. I
I
mean,
like Mag's answer. It's phenomenal.
I didn't even like think about it that way. I just thought like, man, it'd be really cool to live in this world because of like A, B, and C, and
Well,
like
you got
that's
to
what I
think
said.
if you've been living in the world for a long time, I look at it as like we're in this world, we're living in this world. So we're like part
Mhm.
of whatever is going on over there. We're not just like I'm traveling from some other world.
I just got
Where am I?
Well,
transported
but
to
like,
my favorite
would
thing.
we be the hero or the NPCs that get their villages blown up? You know what I'm saying? Like these are real questions, Slam.
I feel like it would just be really cool. And like, yeah, I'm obviously thinking that I would understand how everything works and I'd be able to fend for myself against crazy monsters. And I'd get to be friends with these characters that I love and smack them around when they're being stupid and get them on the right path. So that's why I want to be in that world.
Oh,
And I,
sounds a little close to home, if you ask me.
Slam, I think it's your turn to answer. Take it away.
Take it away, Slam.
This is a really hard one for me to answer. I don't know if there's very many JRPGs out there that I would want to live in. You know what I mean?
Fair
They
point,
got
dude.
they got a lot of stuff going on, dude.
Oh, I
There's
thought for
some-
sure you were about to go the Persona 5 Royal route. Like, I don't know about this. Probably Persona 5.
I do think that it would really be cool. I want my own persona. But if this is okay, we'll do two scenarios. If this is Brandon's scenario and I just get transported into a world, I have no idea what's going on and I'm just like there, I'm gonna go Dragon Quest. Just because I really like how I really love the towns. I like the people, the NPCs. I like everything going on there, and like it just seems so comfy, cozy, right? You know, I could be an NPC in Dragon Quest and be happy.
Until the
If
hordes of monsters come for you.
if I'm a main character and I get to save the world, I mean, it's going to be a Persona game, and I'm going to have my own persona, and it's going to be awesome.
Heck yes.
Like that's what's going to happen. So there you go, two scenarios.
You can tear off your mask. I mean, how
Yep.
epic is that? Oh, have your awakening.
Sick, as Brandon would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Phantom Thief name could be Slam Zany.
Yeah, good.
I thought you were going to say something different for a second.
What, me or him?
Brandon. I thought he, was like,
okay.
he had like a different thing in mind, but he was just like Slam Zany, which is a great name.
It's just Slam Zany. Okay. For me, I don't know. Because you know what? I thought about Pokemon, but then I'm like, do I want to live in a world where parents are like, hey, you're 10. Why don't you go make friends with that monster that can kill you and then use it to attack bigger monsters that could probably kill you as well? Good
Yeah,
luck
dude.
surfing around. I don't know
Sick.
about
Not great. Not great.
that. Oh, I don't know.
He's looking at his shelf.
What was the question? I am looking at my shelf.
What
What game do you want to
World.
be in, man?
I'm gonna go Xenoblade Chronicles 1 post ending.
I thought you
Fair.
were gonna say 3, and I was like, bro.
No.
You'd be dead.
No. I love the story of 3, but yeah, no. 1 post ending. That's what I would say. Because it's just beautiful and a big, vibrant place to go live, and yeah, that'd be a good place to be an NPC and a hero, I think.
Fair.
Yeah, you could live in one of the colonies and send out Shulk to get all of your items.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
Could do that.
You could do
That's
that.
right. That'd be pretty cool. All right.
Was
let's
that
move
a
on to the next
shot?
one.
Was that a shot at Xenoblade 1?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
that's just
just
how the
make sure.
side quests work. No,
Yeah, I know.
wouldn't
It
say
is.
it's not Xenoblade. Are you kidding me?
It did have some fetchy side quests. I digress. Let's move on.
We have
All
to.
right. For everyone. Ooh, this is a fun one. If you could have any game remade, what would it be? And would you prefer it more in the Sky First or the 7 remake style of remake?
Cool. I feel like we answered this one
on the
in a
on one
video.
of the last episodes, yeah.
So I'm just going to reiterate that answer because it's not changed. I would want Fire Emblem Awakening, and I'd want it in the style of like Trails First Chapter, where it's just more of a faithful remake, but the visual quality and the gameplay's enhanced, and like it's just presentation wise, it's just gotten a boost, but everything else remains the same. So
my answer
That's it.
is also going to be the same one from that one, and it's going to be The Legend of Dragoon.
Let's
And
go.
I would prefer it like artistically, kind of like Final Fantasy VII remake.
7 remake.
I really dig that. But I would like it to be story wise, kind of beat for beat. Trails in the Sky. So that's my answer.
I'm going with Car Battler Joe on the Game Boy Advance. If you haven't played that game before, go look it up because it is one of the most unexpectedly fun and hilarious little JRPGs on the Game Boy Advance you've never heard of.
I don't believe you.
Is that a real? Is
and
this
I'd
like
like
sound
that,
shapes again? Like is this a real game?
It is.
Car Battler Joe is a real game. Thank you very much. Yep, it is a real game. You can look it up. And I think I'd prefer it in the Final Fantasy VII remake style because I want this to be the best looking Game Boy Advance remake you have ever seen in your entire life. I'm pretty sure it was Natsume, so let's make that happen. Thank you, everybody, for coming to my TED Talk.
Natsume.
All right, moving on.
I just wanted to throw something in there because these answers were too obvious, and I've never talked about Car Battler Joe before, and I genuinely think it's a hilarious and fun game. So
Cool.
All right. That was, by the way, that was Circus. So shout outs to Circus. Hopefully you found that answer entertaining and informative. Ophidian Mind. Love this.
Shout
guy.
out to Ophidian Mind.
Shout out.
Love that guy.
What modern RPGs have the most innovative turn-based combat systems, including, but not limited to, various hybrids of turn-based and action-based combat elements? Also, what do you imagine the future of turn-based combat in RPGs will look like?
Okay.
Wow.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to answer, I think.
But Max is prepared, so she's going to kick us off.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna highlight Trails and what it's done with its turn-based combat system. I know it's so surprising. I know.
Unbelievable.
But I do think that Daybreak did a lot. It was their first entry into the hybrid system where, you know, you have like your field combat that's real time that allows you to kind of mow down the weaker enemies, but then with like a press of a button, you can immediately go into turn-based mode, and you still retain turn-based mode during boss fights too, because there's just more strategy and positioning involved in that. And so I just thought they did it really well. And in each entry since Daybreak, which includes Daybreak 2 and then Horizon and then the remake of Trails in the Sky, they've added more to that system to keep it fresh. And I mean, I feel like Sky first chapter is probably the best iteration of it so far, but I just think that like there's just so much that they're doing to mix it up a little bit each time to where like you still kind of have to engage with it well to learn it, but the foundation of really saving you time as you go through the field and you can knock out these weaker enemies but still keeping the strategic element with the bosses, like that's just such a good combination. And I think that it was just so smart for them to do it that way. And so I think that's great. And I honestly think that a lot of games are going to continue to do that because we saw Metaphor kind of did the same thing. And I think just kind of eliminating some of the grind where every encounter is turn based is something we're going to see moving forward to where you can kind of get through that combat section easier, but still kind of have the cool stuff we love about turn based mechanics in the tougher fights. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I don't know what y'all are thinking.
Yeah, I think Trails is a really great model for how we could see the future. Because a lot of the companies have talked about, right, like action or turn based, and like, oh, Western likes action and all these kinds of things, but that's been a huge source of contention and conversation in just the larger JRPG community. And I feel like finding a way to marry those two is well done in Trails, but also a good example of like how you can actually make that happen. Um, I personally, though, I think having some hybrid system like this is a good way to move forward in the future. But in terms of the actual in battle mechanics, um, I really, really think Clair Obscur was a fantastic example of how you can move the actual turn-based mechanics forward, because you had not only the pairing system and the dodging system and everything, but like the sidearms, the fact that you could aim in certain parts of the enemies, that they have parts that you could fire off or you could set ablaze or whatever. The mechanics in the battles themselves that made it more interactive, rather than just being like attack, spell, ability, right? You have the ability to, for some of the enemies, like fire at a certain weak point that, makes them explode or other things like that. Or they have a shield, and if you can like knock their arm off, they drop the shield, or different things like that, to give you advantages in battle. And that is all connected to the rest of the battle system. I would love to see more iterative approaches to something like that. And I get the feeling that because Square Enix and the Clair Obscur team had some conversations recently, that we may be seeing some innovation in that strain. But I almost feel like those are two different types of battle systems that we may see continue to evolve, maybe find some overlap, but almost like two separate paths of what turn-based could be in the future. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. And I
Mhm.
honestly love the direction. I hope to see more of those two things evolving, and seeing what more that they could push forward with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
For me, I think I like Metaphor. Refantasio. I think Trails is also another great choice, but I think for me the innovation for strictly turn based, and this isn't like super focused on hybrid, but I think the innovation will come from the systems within it, right? And I like the archetype system a lot, and I think a lot when it comes to turn based, a lot of the innovation and how you approach turn based combat is going to rely heavily on the innovation of the systems behind it. And I think Expedition 33 does a good job of that as well, with the Pictos and all the different things you can do with character builds and stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. And when it comes to hybrid, I love Remake and Rebirth for Final Fantasy VII.
Mm.
I think that is a great action turn-based kind of hybrid scenario where it does feel more actiony than turn-based. So like I wouldn't sit here and be like, oh, recommend me a turn-based game. It's not going to be Remake or Rebirth, but I think they find like a really good balance to keep
Yeah.
strategy being like a main focus rather than just, button mashing or, things like that.
Yeah. No, I think
Good
those are all
question.
good examples. Yeah, and good directions. That was a great question. All right. Let's move on to the next one. This one's from Rike FC. For everyone, in JRPGs, heroes often fight to save the world. But what's really at stake is the very idea of the world itself, what it means to preserve or recreate reality. Do you think JRPGs teach us more about resisting fate or accepting it?
Oh,
That's an
man.
interesting question.
That's a
Getting
deep one.
philosophical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I would have to say I think they teach us more about resisting personally. Because I think about a lot of games where accepting your fate often leads to a bad ending, or accepting the status quo is maybe where the conflict starts. And then to overcome what's happening, you have to resist from that. And I think about like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, where like the status quo was literally, I mean, people were dying and they were stuck in this horrifying cycle. And the minute they broke away from that and started to learn how the world worked, that's when their journey began. And their whole journey was resisting the systems put in place. I think about Persona 5 Royal, where, spoiler alert, once you get to that final section, you can accept your fate and live in this reality that's not really real and that's not going to help you grow or learn or change as a person. Or you can break away from that and accept the fact that life has struggles, and to overcome them means that you have to resist and you have to keep going. And so I think about JRPGs as a way, I mean, so many times the hero or the team or whoever it is, they have to break away from the status quo to achieve what's next for themselves, to save the world, whatever the goal is. They have to do that because where they're at is not working for them at the time. And that's one of the reasons why I love this genre, because like it puts you in that mindset, where what is it about my life that I could struggle with and change and work towards? It's
Mm.
just they're just great examples of that. So that's what I would say out of those two.
I think for me, I echo basically everything you just said. And I'm sitting here trying to think of a JRPG that had a good ending where accepting fate was it. And I'm having a hard time thinking of one.
Yeah.
What do
I
you
couldn't think
think?
of one either.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I think it's you're often put in situations where things are happening around you and they're not great, or something bad is inevitable. And your goal is to alter that in some way, or prevent that from happening. So yeah, I would agree with Mags on this one pretty heavily. And Brandon, maybe you can think of a story about accepting fate.
Well, not so. I would question the question itself. Do you think JRPGs teach us about resisting fate or accepting fate? I think JRPGs more often than not are teaching about resisting evil, resisting injustice, resisting what is not good, not necessarily fate. Like, I know fate is a concept that is used in JRPGs a lot.
Yeah.
But there are
Mhm.
stories like some of the Dragon Quest stories
I was going to
where
think of Dragon
like
Quest.
you
I was
have
sitting
a
there
like
thinking
yeah
that one.
like you have like a chosen hero, and you could argue that the
Their
chosen
fate
hero
is
is
to
accepting their fate, right?
which is to save the world. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
But their struggle is against evil, right? And so I think one of the things that I have always loved about JRPGs, especially growing up, was the stories around resisting evil or unjust systems that are often accepted by others, even if nobody will come along the way. In fact, that's what I like about gaming storytelling in general. That's what speaks to me about games like we've talked about, like Majora's Mask, right? Being the hero for the sake of heroism, not because anybody remembers you for your deeds, right?
Yeah.
Being the forgotten hero because you did the right thing, even if nobody else would come along with you. There's this like old church father named Ignatius, and there's this line, Ignatius contra mundum, Ignatius versus the world, because there's this period of time where um, basically, long story short, heresy broke out in the early church, and it was Ignatius standing alone against all of this false teaching. And eventually, that's what won the day, right? Sticking true to the teaching that was brought to him. And it's kind of that idea that you see in RPGs. It's why Persona 5 Royal is so freaking good, right? Because you have these kids resisting the systems and structures that are unjust. You have these enemies that are abusing their power, and somebody is standing up to them, right? And there's a lot in JRPG storytelling that we can learn from a large systematic standpoint, but there's also a lot in JRPGs that you can learn from a personal standpoint, right? We talked about Claire Obscure, right? Asking questions about what would I do in this scenario? Like, what is this telling me? How does this translate to my real life, right? If you let JRPG stories teach you, often you will find that the lessons revolve around resisting what is wrong, not only externally, but internally as well with some of those characters. And I think that is a more powerful element rather than the concept of like resisting or accepting fate itself for reasons that I gave earlier, right? It could be that accepting fate is doing the right thing.
Cool.
Right?
Good answer, Brandon.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. That was a great question, man. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now we jump into the final questions. Thank you for everybody sticking around with us so far. These are these were categorized. I'm just going to read this because I think it's hilarious. The 0 days without nonsense plus favorite foods category. Thank you, Mags. So
You're welcome.
from Bethany Kiddo, this one's for you, Mags. Tell me why Nagito Komida is such a fun and interesting character. Why is he so darn likable?
Short answer, he's not.
Mm.
He's not. He's from Danganronpa 2, just
Yeah.
FYI. And he's just kind of a wild guy. I don't want to say too much because he plays a pretty significant role in the story, but I did not like this dude, and Bethany loved him, and we played this game at the
Really?
same time. Yes.
Interesting.
We played this game around the same time, and she was just like, so what do you think of him? And I'm just like, I hate this dude. And she's like, I love him. And so it's been like this forever joke in our friendship that like I'm just like, why do you like this guy? So not a fan. He's kind of unhinged. And I don't want to say too much though if you've not played the game because there's a lot of stuff there. But
Yeah, and they're
anyway.
re-releasing that one soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So sorry, Bethany, I don't like this dude. But you already knew that I didn't like this dude. I got nothing good to say.
All right, this next one is from Chicken Fillets. Shout out to Chicken Fillets.
Shout out Chicken Fillets.
He said, why did Brandon allow Lars Ulrich to use that drum snare in Saint Anger? As we all know, he is in Metallica. First of all, thank you for the shout out. I am actually the son of James Hetfield. But second, when it came to Saint Anger, here's the thing. I was talking with Lars, and the drum that he would have normally used, the snare drum for his kit that he had, it was out of commission. He hit that thing a little too hard when we were in practice, and he just ripped a hole right down the middle, and it just didn't sound right anymore, right? So we had to trash that thing, and we had to last minute before recording get a snare drum for this particular song. And so we went down to this little music shop down the street, and it was not a great music shop, and they had a snare drum down in the corner, and they told us it was from the Little Drummer Boy, but that seems a little bit off. So we decided to get this thing anyway, and it made the sound that you're referring to for this particular song, Saint Anger. And it was weird, but you know what? It's what we needed to do, Fillets. So I hope that's an acceptable answer for you. And I hope you enjoy our music now and forevermore.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Forevermore.
All right.
Forevermore.
We're going to wrap this one up with a question from Lurok. Shout outs to Lurok.
Shout out.
He
Shout
said,
out.
let's change it up a bit. For everyone, sound off on some of your favorite foods. Max definitely prepared for this one. Go ahead, Max.
So I'm not a fan of eating contests, but if I had to be in one, and if I had to win, it would be nachos.
Nachos.
Yes.
Nachos, let's go.
I can destroy nachos like you've never seen. And so they're obviously it's one of my faves just for that reason. And they can have whatever. It can have salsa, it can have cheese, it can have meat, it can have whatever. I just love them.
Love
So definitely nachos. Also a big fan of pizza. Also a big fan
Shout
of
outs.
potatoes in general, cooked
Okay.
in all
All
sorts
right.
of ways.
Just potatoes.
like
Yep.
like
Just
Sam from Lord of the Rings. Just like you can mash them. I love
Boil
French
them, mash them,
fries.
stick them in a stew. Yep.
Right.
Potatoes. Yep. I got you.
So those are probably 3 of my top faves.
Okay. For me, I have a lot. I like food. First of all, I'm from New York. I lived in a lot of my life in New York. So pizza is a big one. I'm a bit of a pizza snob because of that. But I love pizza, all my heart. One of my favorite foods. I like Italian food in general, so like pasta and things like that. I also like a lot of different Asian cuisine. My favorite soup is pho. I like.
Let's go.
I like soup dumplings. I like dim sum. I like all of that.
Things.
Yes, and then I like sweets. I got a little bit of a sweet tooth. I like some ice cream a lot. But the highlight of every day, and I know this isn't food, but it's coffee.
Preach.
Love coffee. I
don't get it, but
I have to
enjoy it.
It's life. Coffee is life.
Hey, when you guys come out here and visit, I will make you pour over coffee with some of the best coffee beans I could get at the local farmers market, and you just try some and you let me know. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try
it'll
it.
be amazing.
I'll try it.
Can't
I
wait.
don't know if I'll like it, but I'll do it.
You'll love it.
All right.
Stop.
All right. Stop it. Stop it. You'll like it. Stop. All right. For me, some of the classics. I'm a sucker for a good cheeseburger, but I love cheeseburgers with bacon. And this is a weird one, but chorizo. I love that combination. It's delicious.
Interesting.
Breakfast skillets for me, spicy breakfast skillets. Some of my favorite pancakes. Huge pancake fan. Shout outs to pancakes around the world. Let's see.
Okay.
Pizza. Also a bit of a pizza snob because I grew up in California and then I lived in Chicago. And I've been to New York and I've just had some of the best pizzas around. And so now I'm a bit of a snob. Let's see what else.
There's a wide gap between the greatest pizza and like just some regular pizza.
Like trash
there is.
pizza. Absolutely.
Yeah. Coffee for sure. Shout outs to coffee. Let's see what else. Butter chicken is a massive favorite of mine. Love butter chicken. Sundubu, which is Korean tofu soup. Delicious. I don't like many other tofu dishes, but sundubu is amazing. Bibimbap, which is also Korean. Delicious. And I'll do one more. What am I going to do for my last one? Oh, this is a breakfast one. Coffee cake. Really, really
like coffee
well
cake
done
too.
coffee cake is amazing. I love coffee cake. So there's a lot more I could say, but those are some of my favorites. If that was just my spread for the rest of my life, I would be a happy boy. Yeah. All right. And that wraps up our 500 sub AMA. I have no idea how long this episode is going to be, but it's going to be really freaking long. So thank you, everybody, for all of your questions. This was amazing. These are some really good questions, by the way. We'll have to do this again another time. Once we hit 1,000, maybe. So tell all your friends and your grandma and your mom and your pets. No squirrels, according to Mags, but other animals are welcome. I'm pretty sure Max.
Squirrels.
I was the one who didn't like
Slam
squirrels.
was the one who was like, no squirrels.
It was Slam. I'm so sorry.
Shit, that was her impression of me. Like, I'm too cool for squirrels. I don't think so. I like that impression.
No squirrels for us. Yeah,
it's so good.
All right, Mags, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at Avenger Mags on Twitter and Blue Sky. And then you can find me writing for Nintendo Force Magazine. We are finishing up our November, December issue. And so it's going to be a really special one. We have a really cool project within that magazine. I'm not going to spoil it because you should just get the magazine and find out. But I think it's really special. So just wanting to tease that a little bit.
That's
excited.
All right. Slam, where can everybody find you?
Slam Zany on all the things, mostly YouTube and Twitter. So yeah, go follow me there. Go watch some of my videos.
Slam.
Yeah, go follow Slam.
It's fine.
Yeah, I like squirrels.
Okay.
I just don't
We can't
think
all like the
they
same
belong,
things.
and I don't think they can actually
Hey,
subscribe.
if they can
and
clip the
consume
subscribe
content.
button and they can like and watch our content, then squirrels are welcome.
And
Slam.
if you
You're just
try
gonna
to
have
say
accept
that dogs don't watch content, you're wrong. My dog watches TV all the time. So
Same.
no one said otherwise.
Cool.
Yeah. And I'm Retro Brandon. You could find me at Retro Brandon on YouTube and at Nova Brand on Twitter. Dropped a top 10 spooky JRPGs of my own recently, and I have a tactics video coming soon. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you all on the next one.
See you on the next one.
Bye.
Later.